Tom, today we have the Honorable James Satcher, County Commissioner of your Manatee County District 1.
Welcome.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
This is cool. All right. First question right out of the box. Hey, when are we getting a Chick-fil-A? Come on, Tom, stop. No, let's be serious.
Chicken minis, chicken minis.
We need to spend more time in our prayer closet. I don't know. It's like
Hey,
a black
so your background is indeed missions and ministry. That's what you've done pretty much your career. How does that relate to being a county commissioner?
I think the main thing is you're trying to help people. So that's one of the things with missions and ministry is I would always try to think, and of course you're praying and you're talking to the Lord, but the main thing I try to do is find, okay, where's somebody that nobody's helping? Where's something where there's a need that everybody's experiencing and feeling, and then you try to help whatever that is. Mm-hmm. So when there was an earthquake in Haiti and tens of thousands of people died. And people were without homes, that was the big need. And so we went and tried to address it. And so I think with being a commissioner, it's, people
Similar.
have needs.
Right.
It's like, okay, we need to be able to get to work on time. We need to have a place for our family to be able to raise our kids and to meet in our community. And so you find those things out and then you do your best to address those problems. It's problem solving.
Mm-hmm. So here at Leslie Wells Realty, we're focused on north of the river, basically your district. District 1, which is primarily north of the river, right? There's a few spots not, but the fastest growing district in the county. Well, it is the largest square miles, right?
Right, absolutely. Not even close. It's huge.
And population-wise, it is or will be soon the same largest.
Right.
What's your concerns about that as far as managing that or addressing the people on that? Because it's rural, but it's also communities.
Right. I think there's a lot of, things that go into that. So, we've all discovered between the beautiful weather and the great policies from our governor, people want to move here. And we can't just close down I-75 and say, sorry, you can't come to Manatee County.
That won't work.
It's not going to work.
No.
And so people want to be here, and so they're moving here, people are building, etc. So how are we going to deal with it? And so I think the main thing, is we focus on infrastructure, and I'm focusing a lot on parks, and then back in our law enforcement. So we say stay a safe place to live for people to either retire, work, and then raise their families.
From the Leslie Wells text line, see the number on the screen, 941-776-5571. And the question was that we were requesting some soccer fields and sports fields, athletic fields here in the North River. Anything coming up on that you know of?
Absolutely. So we've made some progress there. We put in an extra small-sided field, they call it, already at Buffalo Creek. And then within 6 weeks, we're going to have a brand new full field at Buffalo Creek. So they're putting it out right now. They've got the grass, or they took out the old grass. They topped the field, make it where it'll drain properly, put in everything. So they've only got the one full field there now, so we're going to have another one. So that's going to be good. I'm looking for, I want 40 acres and no mule, but just 40 acres, and for us to put in plenty of fields and baseball. But of course, it's a premium on land right now, so we're working.
Heard that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And but we've got those coming. I'm trying to make the best of what we already have, and then. As we're faithful with a little bit that we have, we'll end up getting more is what I'm planning on. We also have there's an old landfill back behind Buffalo Creek, and that has been, there's been a lot of success in municipalities, even when you think about the celery fields in Sarasota,
Right.
with using that or using old closed out landfills for recreational space. So that's an option as we move forward as well.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Is that where that miniature airport is?
I don't believe so. Not that I've heard. I could be. Oh, are you talking about the RC airport?
Yeah, the RC airport.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know exactly, but it's owned. It's Palmetto and Manatee County own the space, so I doubt it's where they fly from. but we could be letting them fly on it. I don't know.
I heard the dog park was shut down at Buffalo Creek. Is that where the new soccer field is going?
Right. Yeah. So that's where. So we had the dog park, and what we did was we went into Olamay Sims and just revamped. Just didn't hold anything back. We put in brand new sod. We put in brand new sidewalks, nice fences, the agility courses, a couple of 100-gallon trees for shade, plus the shade structures, plus where they sit with the with the tables. So we moved the dog park to there, and then put in the soccer fields, which every Saturday there's thousands of, maybe not every Saturday, but there's literally thousands of people there,
Right.
for soccer. And that's not our only option. I'm hoping to have an even larger dog park moving forward, but that's where we're at on it now.
Switching gears here just a little bit, our water table currently is as low as I can recall.
Right.
All right. Can you make it rain? But no, there is an environmental thing going on about the water. It smells funny, tastes funny, whatever that is. But is this an environmental issue, or is this a seasonal issue? What do you take on that?
Yeah, I from what I understand, I don't claim to be an expert, but from what I understand, we had gotten some contractor hit a pipe on a Friday, and which happens around the county, and it was up towards Moccasin Wallow, and so I had gotten the emails that you could have some outages, might have some boil notices. Well, then Monday, or so, I start seeing these reports that people's, are what's going on with my tap water. And it was farther away than that. So I emailed and just said, what is going on? Is that from the pipe being hit? And then the answer came back, no, because it's gotten, the water table has gotten low, the water obviously is warm, that there's, some type of algae growing. They had already started doing the activated charcoal to try and fix it best they could, in addition to all the filtering. We have acres and acres of the plant that treats the water, but they were going beyond that. But at some level, apparently it gets high enough to where you still end up tasting it. I think it's not fun on the one hand, but on the other hand, we are in a much better position with drinking water than any of the counties around us.
Is that right?
Yeah, because we have Lake Manatee. So, Sarasota's buying from us. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they buy 5 million gallons of water a day. We've got a brand new water treatment plant that we're bringing online soon. That's that next level of treatment rather than just the sand filtration. It goes beyond that. That'll be coming on, should be before the end of the year, if not in the next month or so.
So you don't feel like any of this is related to development or overdevelopment or housing?
So I see my job, and we speak about this. My job's to represent the people. So I'm not trying to defend anyone that's outside of that. I try to get what I can as far as infrastructure and plans, and make sure that we have a good plan for here north of the river. But no, I don't think that it has, honestly, in this case, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with that. It's just that it's real warm, and so stuff's growing in that reservoir. You got a lake. So, and they're treating the fool out of it, and of course they keep reiterating that it's safe, and I know people want to poke fun at that, but I'm not I don't claim to be an expert on it. I do know that I believe our last meeting signed tens of millions of dollars of bonds, if it might have been over $100 million of bond, to shore up our infrastructure as far as with water and utilities. So we're trying to do what we can do on each thing as we move forward.
So what do you say to those people that are anti-development? We've lost the charm of our community. Stop developing. Stop releasing all this land. What do you say to that? That's a tough one. I'm sorry, man.
No, I understand. I understand the issue. I tell people, I think there's a reason why it's worked out for me to represent this community, because that's kind of, I grew up between in that suburban. Grandparents had a farm, so I was on the farm every weekend, just about, but we lived, closer into the city. And so, so I love being on the farm. I love seeing cows and riding horses and those types of things. But there is that, there's the issue of people want to live close to the water. They want to live close to the beach. They want to live in Florida. Okay. So are they able to, with market prices what they are, which we should all know that capitalism is the way to go. I mean, there's someone that says it's the worst, the worst economic system except for all the others. And, and so, capitalism creates a level of prosperity. It's a good thing. And so we have to let the market at some level set those prices. And the tough thing is okay, I think a lot of us would want 5, 10, 40 acres. But then if we also want to be, close to the Publix, or we want to be able to go to commercial places, or if we want to be able to go to the beach, well, there's a balance there. How much can you afford of that? And so we see people want to be here. So I think that's the bottom line.
I want to be rural, but I want an outback right down the street. Okay,
Yeah.
so which way do you want it, Tom?
You said that.
Okay.
You said that, not me.
Okay, yeah, well, I do. Yeah. So your background, like we said, is in missions and ministry. So we know that you have a heart for the underprivileged.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. What are we going to do about affordable housing, workforce housing, and economically speaking, man, it's getting tough.
Right. Yeah. It's an issue. We just had family. It's wonderful news. You have family that wants to be close, but trying to find a place that people can stay at and can afford is it's really tough. So, the commission, since I came on in 2020, so each year we're putting, literally, when we have projects come before us, we're putting millions and millions of dollars. We had a lot of projects that got started when prices went up during COVID and supply chain and all that. All of a sudden, their balance sheet was way off, and wonky.
Unusual.
And so I don't believe that government should be in the business of building houses as a normal course of events. But it was a special circumstance, and so we've helped them basically rebalance those sheets. So we've had votes for, 4 million, 2 million, 3 million to help projects go forward. Those projects take time. So even the ones that we first voted on are just now starting to come online because of just the construction time. Mm-hmm. And then you once again have I'm not going to call it a catch-22, but you do have the issue of, okay, do you want density, which should bring, houses down, or do you want to maintain our old town feel here in Parrish and North River? And how can you do both? And so we're trying to do both. We had a project just the other day come forward where it was over 3 homes per acre, which generally, developers know that I prefer 3 homes per acre. I feel like it, just makes a great community. Mm-hmm. And not in every single spot. There's some spots where more is appropriate, or less might be appropriate in some areas as well. And this project came forward, and I think it was, once you did the math, was like at 4. And that wasn't the zoning, but it was 4. And man, it was a good project and good home builder, and it was, good people, but it was up on one of these roads that we're really struggling with getting it caught up. And we're spending millions of dollars to fix the road that it was on. And so it was, being up there on the commission, there's some things that are right or wrong, and we're gonna back our law enforcement. We're gonna stand up for free speech. We're going, there's some things that are right or wrong. This was okay. Well, it's a few homes more than what I prefer, but we do need more affordable homes, and this is probably a good spot. But that road's tough, so it was a tough vote.
Right.
But that's one of the things I think about in that case, because I'm rooting for the person and that's bringing that business, because I know that first of all it matters to those all the people on down the line that work in that industry, and then it also matters to the people that are looking for a home and they need a more affordable place.
Yeah, seriously, these decisions can't be that easy for you, but it does boil down to right or wrong, right?
Right, on a lot of things, on some of the if it's, I think on density, that since that's what we're talking about. I don't know that every single project, sometimes I can see people that vote on one side and on the other,
As it should be.
right? Yeah.
I see both sides.
Yeah,
Sure.
should be able to see both sides on that. But then there are also things that come before us where, okay, there's just no doubt about it. This needs to go. There's only one way that you're doing the right thing, an American thing.
So, I mean, everybody loves, we're right here in paradise. We all love it. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But the bad side of it, the downside is the traffic, the roads and the traffic. So let's talk about that for just a second. What's happening with the roads? Are we developing the roads? Seems like everywhere I go, there's construction, highway construction.
Right.
So I know we're doing something about it.
So the first thing I want to be clear is I have to drive on the same roads.
Okay.
So
Noted.
I'm not getting a helicopter flying in from out of town. I have to make it to work and go through the same traffic jams and drop my kids off, etc. And I understand it's not fun at all. So, but what we've started doing, when I came on the board in 2020, which to me, when I came, if you had said 3 years later, this is where you're. 3 years seemed like an eternity.
Right.
But in the realm of building roads, apparently, 3 years is not as long as you'd think. But so what we're doing, we've bonded out over $200 million of funds to either fix or build new roads. So we don't like, nobody likes debt. Bonds, are they debt technically? I don't know. But the thing is, what we try to do is if we're going to take out a bond, it's going to be on something that's going to be a 25-year or 30, 40-year asset. And that's what roads are. So we've done that, plus hundreds of millions, I believe well over 200 million that has come out of just our CIP. So our funds that come in to build something new that we all need, we've spent hundreds of millions on that as well. A lot of times, you've got the taking land, you've got the design, you've got the finding the contractors, getting someone to come forward for a job. You've got to talk to the electric, you got to talk to FPL and get them to move the lines. Even our utility department, which is technically set up separate from the county, even though we're still in charge of it, they've got to come move, pipes. Yeah. And so it's a long process. But, we had to fire some contractors because they weren't moving forward at the pace we wanted. But we're seeing some progress. I mean, of course, then you do have construction. Construction's no fun either. But there's, in my mind, a light at the end of the tunnel on a lot of these projects that have gotten started that are moving. Mm-hmm. There's some that I look at and I still think, oh man, we've still got to get moving in this area. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering, I've been thinking about eventually, would we want to set up something where we had, an express toll where you could bypass on, say, the east side of Manatee County, where you could bypass 75, and make it down to, say, Sarasota County, and then another expressway that could take you to the beach, so we could just not have to sit at all these lights, because that's the frustration, is when you pull up your Apple Maps and you're only 10 miles away, and it's not going to take 10 minutes. It's going to take 20 and 30 and 40 minutes. So
I don't know about that one. I don't know. Listen, let me ask you this personal question. Did you grow up here?
I didn't grow up here.
Okay.
I grew up in Northwest Georgia. I kind of have two hometowns. Rome, Georgia. Yeah. Small town, foothills of the Appalachians. And then Kennesaw, Georgia, which is like Northwest Atlanta, suburban or suburb.
So, I feel like, we just met, but I feel like you had the choice to live anywhere you wanted to in the country, in the world probably. Yeah. Why did you choose North River? What's your favorite thing about North River?
Well, first of all, you started the whole talk mentioning my background in missions and ministry. So first of all, I'll just say that God's been better to me than I deserve. And so I could not have imagined how well things would work out.
You couldn't have planned it.
They couldn't have planned it this good. I'd love to pretend like I'm some sort of genius and I knew what was going to happen. in being here. But that's not the full truth. You know, I was at that time I was doing a lot of missions work, and we had 3 kids when we moved here. We have 6 now, and so this was 9 years ago, and so I was doing a lot of missions work out of the country a good bit, and I wanted a solid place to raise my family and my kids to be there. So I knew about a church that's just south of us in Sarasota, and just felt like this is where I was supposed to be. And of course, when you start researching this area and you're looking for the best place to have a family, and you need the square footage, and you need the bedroom space, and you need schools that people want to be at, Parish came up.
About that.
And so that's how we got here to begin with. I never would have imagined how wonderful it's been to see this community grow, and people that get along and love each other. And if you attack a local restaurant on the Facebook page, everyone comes down on you because we're looking out for each other. And so couldn't have asked for anything better.
So even with all of our growth, we're still a small community, right?
Absolutely. I think there's a biblical side to that. If you're looking out for the person next to you, if you're doing it unto others as you'd have them do unto you, if you're loving your neighbor as yourself, then there's always going to be that sense of community moving forward.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you like to do for kicks when you're not being the county commissioner? All right. Or maybe there is no time. Being a
You heard him say he's got 6 kids.
That's okay. All right. Next question.
I tell people at work, because they'll be like, "Oh, did you get some rest? Because we're going to be, getting after it. All these meetings are coming up." And I always say, I come to work for a break. I work harder at home than I do here with 6 little ones. But of course, when I can, I love the beach and love going out on a boat and love time with family, and probably the most special thing is if you get a time on the back of a horse. That's always great to go horseback riding.
There you go.
Can't say that happens often, but I do really enjoy it.
Well, we're going to wrap up. We appreciate you being here. One final question. When are we getting to Chick-fil-A? Huh?
That is the question of the hour, or maybe the question of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What is coming? What are we looking forward to? Any restaurants or anything coming up that we can be excited about?
Sure, there's plenty to be excited about. I mean, of course, we've got the hospitals at Moccasin and Wallow that are both approved. So I think that's a race. We'll see who wins that one. Maybe they'll both end up going forward. But that should be great. We've got some nice restaurants planned there at Fort Hamer and Moccasin and Wallow that are coming in. Of course, the Erie Road and 301 is up and going. Lowe's is there. Used to be Mount Parish, and where they were going to have, the rumor back in the day was a Walmart, and we ended
Where
up
did
with
that
Lowe's.
start, Tom? Who said that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, we do appreciate you coming in. What a pleasure it's been. Will you come back sometime?
Absolutely, I'd love to. Thank you for having me.
Commissioner Satcher, thanks for coming here.
All right.
Tom, what do you got?
Well, you know what time it is, Jim.
Tell us.
It's time to hit that like button right down there in the bottom.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share. And throw us a comment or two if you like.
Good. Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.